when we think about sustainability at Vedanta, we've actually broken down our overall strategy into 9 aims under 3 pillars, right? There's a community pillar, there's a planet pillar, and there's a workspace pillar. And under each of these pillars, there are significant long-term vision and targets that the company has taken. So, for example, under the community pillar, we're talking about skilling 2.5 million individuals over the next 7 to 8 years. We're talking about ensuring that 100 million women and children benefit from welfare, education, healthcare programs across India. Our key pillar on environment focuses on getting to net zero carbon by 2050 or sooner for a large mining and metals business, which is a pretty ambitious target, so to speak. We've also been looking at becoming water positive by the end of the decade and looking at mitigating our impact on biodiversity and other environmental factors through waste management and other solutions. Right? On workplace, we're looking at diversity as a key agenda for the organization. We plan to become a 20% gender diverse organization by the end of 2030. But more than that, we're looking at diversity across all of its dimensions. For example, very recently, we've onboarded more than 32 members from the transgender community, and they're now an active part of the workforce that we have. We're also looking at ensuring the safety of our operations, both internal and external, for full-time employees, for our business partners and contractors, and really becoming a zero accident, zero fatality organization. And lastly, we want to adhere to global standards of corporate governance, whether those are around ESG compensation, whether that's disclosure, whether that's around any other leading leapfrogging practice that will deliver the long-term solutions required for running a sustainable business. So it's a large gamut, and we can deep dive into any of those. I personally don't like the word resistance. When we think about sustainability or ESG within the company, we are talking about it from a change management perspective, right? It's essentially a mindset shift that we're asking the organization to do. So, for example, historically, if an organization looked only at profit, loss, volume, and other financial metrics, now we're asking them, hey, do you understand what your carbon footprint is or what your water footprint is? And once you understand that, what are you doing to minimize that, not just in your current operations, but in any kind of growth that you're going to undertake as an organization? Now, naturally, these things don't come easily, right? Because all of us have been trained on engineering and finance. We've not necessarily been trained on understanding the environmental and social dimensions of running our business. So the change management is really incorporating these things, setting the targets, getting the metrics in place, ensuring that there are budgets there, ensuring that we have people with the expertise to deliver on this. So it's a natural course. I think what we've benefited as an organization is that there is a complete buy-in in our management right from the top, and we are going ahead very, very quickly on this. To give you an example, right, and this is just an example because there are numbers that I can throw at you. Essentially, when you look at external rating agencies like in S&P Global, we were in the top 20 metals and mining businesses just 3 years ago. Today, we are right at the top. So that just gives you an indication of how quickly the organization is moving and how this change management is being enabled within the company. At the end of the day, the way a business makes decision is through financial metrics, right? What is the IRR, what is the ROI, what is the NPV of any project? So it is but natural that when we are talking about large scale change, these metrics will have to come into play. Now, that's easier said than done because we really don't know what the ROI really is historically of improving your water efficiency, or what is the ROI of preserving the biodiversity around your plant. But there are metrics in place, and we are slowly starting to translate those metrics into numbers that our financial teams can identify. An example here is around internal carbon pricing, for example. So how do we drive decision making that is low carbon, zero carbon in nature? You introduce a concept called, you set a notional value of carbon, and then you ask your management to take your IRR decisions accordingly. So that's just one example. I think this has to evolve, and I'm very eager that there are many people across the world who are working on actually quantifying this and translating it for a financial audience. Have a vision, let that vision be ambitious, and have patience to be able to run it through your organization. Like I mentioned earlier, look at this as a change management exercise, not an environmental or a world saving exercise. Because once you make that transition in your mind space, I think one has the ability to then work with the various stakeholders in a manner that will enable them to get on board. So really have that patience, have the vision, and have the ambition. And I think anybody can get there if you're doing this consistently.